with us today Andrea McHugh, who is the author of a blog called the Newport Style File. It's a lifestyle and food and fashion blog, so you'll hear more about it as she lays out what she does on a regular basis. And she has a long history of writing for other kinds of publications, print publications, but now since we've moved to the digital age, she has also. She has an English and writing background. Her degree is from Loyola University. I initially thought Chicago, but it's from Maryland. And she'll talk a little bit more about what she did after graduation and how she got to be the editor, author of the blog that she's working with right now. Let's have a welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is really exciting. Talking about fashion in the digital age is probably quite apropos for my age because I'm right on the cusp of still having a mad love affair with print, but also recognizing that we are in the digital age and there's nothing that I can do to stop it. So I couldn't beat them, so I joined them and reluctantly started a blog, so I'll talk about that in just a moment. So why blog? There are so many different reasons to launch some sort of platform to convey your feelings, to convey what you're working on, to convey your point of view in life. Personally, I never wanted a blog, ever. Who knew where the places it would take me since I launched a number of years ago. But I was writing full-time as an editor at a lifestyle magazine for years, and I found in the editing process that you lose your own writing. You lose your own articles, and I deeply missed it. So I decided to more consult for editing and go more into freelance writing. And for lifestyle, that can incorporate fashion, which of course I love, bridal, wedding, food and wine, culture, events. There's a lot of opportunities. And so when I first kind of went out on my own, I was still doing traditional pitching to publications. I wrote for Daily Candy and Hartford Courant and some other major newspapers in the country. But then the articles needed a place to live because when you're freelancing, editors constantly want to see what you're doing, what your voice is, how relevant your talk is to what you need to cover, and that you're out there. You know, it's a supply and demand thing. It seems like when you're really busy, people really want to take advantage and get you and book you kind of like a restaurant. And restaurants that are crowded have the longest lines still, and somehow you still walk by restaurants that are empty and decide to go to the next one maybe down the road that's hot. So you need to have a platform to have those places to live, those voices to be able to convey, whether it is through print or through broadcast or different facets of journalism. So I went through Media Bistro. Has anyone ever heard of Media Bistro? It's a living space, I would say, for writers and editors to network either online or in person. There's Media Bistro Central in Washington, D.C., which is where I grew up, New York, Boston, Philadelphia, and it's a place where editors and writers can exchange ideas, get to know one another, get assignments, pitch, network, build up your Rolodex. And I went to one that said if you are full-time freelancing, you really need a blog. You need a place for your voice to live, and you need a place to file all of your press clips. So I was finally convinced and reluctantly launched Newport Style File. So when you think about what you're doing as you move forward in this major, whether you're thinking of designing, being a buyer, fashion merchandiser, one of the things that you need to realize is that you are a brand. In this day and age, there's not really a way around it. People are going to be forming an opinion on you based on your social media, based on your credentials, based on your experience, and they're going to form an opinion if you're a good fit to work for a company or to be independent. And a blog is a perfect opportunity to own that. You can craft your brand identity. You can see this is a recent blog post. This isn't mine. This is my iconic blog from a blogger that was at London Fashion Week. So you can see the chance to really create your own voice. Who are you? What do your designs stand for? What do you hope to achieve? What your short-term goals are, what your long-term goals are. Another one is to build customer loyalty. That doesn't necessarily mean if you're a designer, just customers, but even if you want to be a buyer, to create a loyalty with a voice, create a loyalty with an identity. That person's a good fit for me because you can figure out that you're ambitious. You like to discover emerging designers, eclectic designers, traditional designers. There's a lot of different ways to kind of build that voice up. Blog's also a great way to create a dialogue with your audience. You can talk a little bit, maybe if you're a designer, about your new lines, your inspiration, your muse. If you're more in the merchandising sector, I would say, maybe other designers that inspire you, or people who are doing it well and why you like their point of view. It's a good opportunity to kind of create that. And by a dialogue, of course, with a blog, you have constant feedback. People can leave comments, they can question you, you can integrate your social media, create conversations on Twitter and on Facebook. You can also connect with buyers. This is a great way to create a relationship, to make this a springboard. You might have commonalities. You might have people who disagree with your point of view, which often gains respect. You can have definitely a competitive maybe, but a very a dialogue that is well voiced, even if you don't agree. And it's also a way to stand out among the competition. It's a good way for people to get to know you and what you stand for and everything that you believe in with your line. One of the first things you want to consider before you even put pen to paper is what you'll blog about. Is this going to be purely a business point of view? Is this going to be purely where you're buying fabric, or what you hope to achieve, or your ultimate career goals? How often are you going to blog? Do you have time for it? Can you make time for it? Maybe once a week. Maybe that's all you need. Maybe 3 times a week. Depends on the way you want your voice heard in the blogosphere. What's your tone going to be? Are you someone that likes to throw all your feelings out there? Are you struggling right now? Is it hard to get market share? Is it hard to get noticed? Is it hard not being able to make rent and put food on the table but loving good fashion? What's your style? Do you want your blog to constantly convey what your look is, or do you also want to have a human point of view? Do you want to convey where you live and your environment and what inspires you in your daily life? And content, how are you going to get content? Are you a strong writer? Are you a stronger photographer? Do you want photos to really be the lead? Do you want to go on and on about the struggles of trying to make it in this world, or do you want to just kind of put a photo up about what inspires you that day? Something to consider. What's doable? What's realistic? What's in your skill set? How much do you want to challenge yourself? How much time you have to dedicate to this? All things to think about, because these are all going to play into how you set up your blog. I wanted to use this example. Betsy Johnson is her own brand, of course, and I don't think there's one person, if you say Betsy Johnson, that doesn't get this image of her. She's fun. She's whimsical. She's also really wicked smart. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's created this lifestyle. After her line, Betsy Johnson, she created Betsyville. It's more than just great clothes. It's great shoes and great accessories and different price points and reaching a real diverse audience. This is Betsy's Bubbles. So she's decided to make this a very frivolous blog. She is candid, she's funny, but she also has a business sense. Right now with this image, this is behind one of her photo shoots for Betsywood, which is her lifestyle brand. You can see it's fun and it's flirty, but for buyers and for a front row fashion show, you're thinking, this is a sneak peek. She'll never give you the full deck of cards. She wants you to kind of take a look at what she's doing, get an idea, but she'll never reveal everything. So it's a good way to kind of generate chatter, to get people interested in your line, to get people intrigued by what's going to be coming down the pike. And you'll also see down in the corner there's an opportunity to follow Betsy's Bubbles. So now you're creating she's created a way to communicate with her customer base. Even if your closet isn't full of her pieces, you're a potential customer. Every single person who clicks on the site is a potential customer. And of course, that affects her bottom line and increased revenue. I think she's early 60s now, 60 maybe, I'm not sure. But you can see that she still translates all demographics. She's fun, she's fearless, she's badass, she still does a cartwheel. She did her cartwheel 2 weeks ago during New York Fashion Week, and people want to be a part of that lifestyle. They can identify with Betsy. This is another teaser. This was right before Fashion Week. Again, for editors, for style bloggers, which have become a huge part of Fashion Week, it just kind of dangles a little bit in front of the consumer. What is she to be throwing down the runway? You can see she has her fabric samples and her sketches. She's playing with accessories, and she's fun. You can see she's having a great time doing it. But she also has used her blog as a platform to convey her lifestyle. She's very candid with her readers. She wants them to come along with her on the journey of being a fashion designer and also just being a mature woman and a mother. She connects with people this way. She was on vacation. You can see she put up just a few pictures. She didn't have to get into a whole bunch of text, just a few fun captions. She also integrated this through her Instagram accounts and her Twitter. She conveyed some of these photos on Facebook. So as you can see, Betsy's created a relationship with an audience. I like to go on vacation. I like glittery shoes. I just became a new customer. It's a great way to convey constantly what's coming down the pike, what you believe in, and why you want to be a part of Betsy Dill's brand. This is another blog I wanted to show you. This is by Kathleen Armgiro. She is a small designer. She's based out of New York now, but in her blog she's conveyed that she's from Alexandria, Virginia. Her blog is more of the diary of a dress designer, which is her very uncreative title. But it's fun. It's her diary. She's inspired by this fabric store. One of the biggest things that she does is graduation dresses. And she found a key market through blogging by connecting with prep schools, who often have a graduation tradition to wear all white dresses. I know at St. George's in Middletown, not too far from here, you have a lot of creative range, but it has to be all white. And she's really connected with that market. She's probably one of the biggest market shares with graduation dresses, which is one simple thing. She has a few base silhouettes she can create outside of that, be inspired to do a little bit more beyond what her basic silhouettes are, but she has a few, and now it's the go-to place. She'll also do custom designs. And in her blog, she conveys kind of the struggles of an everyday designer. She puts up her press tips. She puts up places and people that inspire her, which is the one that I've included here. A good way to get more press is by showing your press, so she puts that there, make sure it has a place to live. She puts up video, which is really fun, whether it's at a fashion show just in her studio, if she goes to an event. Another key thing to connect with her market is the email newsletter sign up. So every day or once a week or once a month, people can, and potential customers can find out what she's up to, get a sneak peek at her line. She puts up her sample sales, which gets a lot of customers through the door. And she also just wants to convey herself as an authority. So she puts up things like how to wear tips. She paired one of her more formal lace skirts with a great black t-shirt. She wanted to show it on real people. So it's a way to kind of convey what you stand for and also to create a customer base. Diane von Furstenberg has lip service. Now, you'll see that this look and feel for Diane is very consistent with the whole DBF look. So where you might have a designer like Betsy that's completely just casual, putting up pictures, what she's up to, fabric samples, this one's a little bit more polished, but it still is always congruent with her brand. The look and feel in design is very consistent. One of the things she also conveys is who's wearing DVF. Great way to create buzz, to generate story ideas, to get media interest. She also has a whole section on celebrities who wear her looks at red carpet events, so it makes her relevant coming up for the award season. It's a great time for designers to capitalize on that, of course. And her content is, I have to say, if I were to throw a number out there, it's probably 90% fashion focused, so it's a little bit more serious. She has, like right here, you can see the behind the scenes from her Spring 2014 campaign. She wanted to showcase a lot of her work that was used in the film American Hustle. She had an interview with the costume designer for the film on why he was inspired by her looks. I think you could probably, did anyone see the movie American Hustle? You could probably identify right away when she comes out of the closet in that green and white dress. You know it's Diane von Furstenberg. So she kind of explains how she got involved, why it was a very big coup for her, and of course you could reflect on that time period, which was very. Sometimes she deviates. She goes a little into things she loves, a great cocktail recipe, a farm that she visited that had great fresh cut flowers. But what she is always doing is kind of building the Diane brand. Who is this person? And the best thing about a blog is that you're the voice. The press and media are constantly saying who you are if you're in the public spotlight, but this is her way to put her voice out there. This is who I am. I like fresh cut flowers and great food. I like to go to exotic locales, excuse me, in Monaco. Kind of just builds her brand consistently. She also put in easy-to-use slideshows, which is really helpful. Not everyone is a front row to Fashion Week. Most people will never. And it's a great way to show what she has coming down the pipe. She's also very skilled at, of course she has a team like her, but Diane von Furstenberg has been very well known for being very hands-on. She wants to still control her brand, which is genius. So I'm sure she's not the one tweeting, but she has done a great job of integrating her Twitter and Instagram. And she's also a great player to have on the Ball Club because she co-promotes other brands on this blog, but brands that are kind of consistent with her own look and feel. So she did some of her favorite Instagrams recently, and they were images that reflect the DVF lifestyle, even though not every single person is wearing a wrap dress or wearing one of her wonderful pieces. So she keeps it really fun and really fresh. We're getting started. Does anyone have a blog already? Good. They're not too hard to launch this day and age. I'm sure you've worked with it. These are some of the major platforms for blogs. You can see there's a lot out there. There's a lot coming down the pike. Some have fallen into the digital graveyard. But the biggest that you'll probably be debating between is WordPress and Blogger. So one of the reasons I was talking earlier about what to consider is that the platform is really just about, it's like your own college. What's the best fit for you? If you're going to have more words, there might be a platform that's better for you. If you want to just be real more photo-driven, do you have design capabilities? I don't have any design capabilities. I don't have a great graphic design background. I can do what I can do, and I'm always trying, but I'm not someone that can play around with a ton of Photoshop and custom backgrounds, and I can't do my own illustrations. So personally, I went with WordPress. I think it accounts for 19% of the internet right now. Yeah, I just want to double check that. So these are the top two that you'll find. And again, WordPress, 19% of the web. So with over 45 million times it's been downloaded. So you can imagine how many blogs are out there under the WordPress platform. It is free. You might, that's, I say it's my second favorite word.